Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Miss Ming. On my channel, I do a variety of lifestyle videos, hauls, and taste test videos. Today's video is a little bit different. If you didn't know, I had a baby 2 months ago at the time of filming. I'm almost 3 months postpartum. So in today's video, I want to share with you my postpartum recovery tips. I watched a bunch of these videos before I gave birth. Remember that I did have a vaginal birth. So if you had a C-section, it may be a little bit different. And also check with your doctor. Still, like everyone's body is different. And cluster feeding. Before I gave birth, I watched a lot of videos. I even took a lot of breastfeeding classes. So I learned that you're supposed to feed your baby 8 to 12 times a day. And I was like, that's every 2 hours, right? That's not too bad. But I think every baby is different, but there is such a thing called cluster feeding, and not a lot of people talk about this in their video or in the classes. But after I gave birth, and starting from the second day, the baby started to wake up every 45 minutes to an hour to feed. Thank God my nurse was like, it seems like your baby is cluster feeding. That usually means the baby is in a growth spurts. It's just impossible to get sleep. After I gave birth, I couldn't sleep because my baby was doing the cluster feeding. My experience during the first 2 weeks, if the baby tried to eat every 45 minutes or even 40 minutes or even 30 minutes, try to breastfeed as much as possible if you do plan to breastfeed, because it's going to help you to increase that milk supply and establish the milk supply. So first 2 weeks, I pretty much just wake up every time the baby wake up to breastfeed on demand, because I wanted to establish that milk supply, and later that I could just pump. But for the first 2 weeks, I tried my best and wake up every time. Is to take care of your sleep, because without good sleep, it's more likely that you experience that mood swings. Because our sleep quality regulates our hormones, because it affects cortisol level, it affects our levels of sex hormones, it affects the levels of growth hormones. So here's my experience of improving my sleep quality. I was directly breastfeeding for 2 whole weeks, and I was so tired because I couldn't sleep for more than like an hour. I lost a lot of blood because I had a bleeding disorder. I was so lightheaded and I didn't get enough sleep. But that's when I realized, if you have a partner, either the baby's dad or any family that could help you, give you a hand during that time, it's great. I started pumping breast milk, and my husband would take turns to feed the baby at night. So I will watch the baby until like 2 to 2:30, and then my husband will take over with my milk and then take care of the baby until like 8 o'clock. So essentially I could get like some sleep for a larger chunk of time. So at the beginning, both me and my husband will sleep in the living room, and then every time the baby cries, even though my husband was taking care of the baby, I will wake up and I will start leaking milk, because there's like a hormone response. Every time I hear the baby cries, I just start to leak milk. So I will sleep in the same room with the baby for 4 hours, and then my husband will sleep in the same room with the baby for 4 hours, and then we switch. And that was a life changer for me. I went and I also got a new mattress. Ta-da! So I was sleeping downstairs on this mattress, but then my husband actually inherited the mattress from his dad, and it was like the most rough mattress I've ever stayed at. So we actually changed up to another mattress from Molblly. They look so affordable. Are they actually good quality? But I was so tempted because our downstairs mattress was like so bad. So I was like, let me try it. Maybe it will actually work. And let me tell you, I've been sleeping on this mattress for several weeks now, and it was so good. So I chose the medium to firm mattress. Here's the deal. After giving birth, my lower back was herniated from the whole pregnancy, because my baby was pressing into the bottom of my spine. So when I sleep on top of a super soft surface like our couch and stuff, when I woke up, I always had really bad back pain and stuff. That's when I realized that I need to sleep on a firm but very comfortable memory foam mattress. So I got this mattress from Molblly, and it was so good.
Simba likes our new mattress.
He has not.
Molblly. Simba loves it. I'm telling you, Simba loves it. Simba's like, wow, it's so soft. It's memory foam. Look, Simba's like, wow, I love it. Simba's so excited. Look how soft it is. Like, look at his paw. Wow. I love it. It feels so much nicer than our old mattress. This one is like so hard. I couldn't sleep well on this thing. But now we got a better one.
And also, I just want to do a disclaimer. Even though they sent the mattress to me to try out in PR, I wasn't sponsored by them. They didn't send me any money. I genuinely really do like it. And also their mattress has like a cooling surface, like a kind of gel-like surface. When the hormones were leaving my body, I had a lot of heat rushes at night, so I would just sweat out like super crazy. So make sure that you have a breathable mattress and it's firm or medium firm, but also with memory foam. So it's soft enough that you sink into the mattress, but very firm that you don't sink all the way down, so your spine is supported. The important thing is to recover physically. So I did have some stitches because I pushed the baby really quickly. But one of the drawbacks of pushing baby too fast is to have tears. I only had level 1 tear, but I had excessive bleeding. At the beginning, it was really hard to go to the bathroom because I have stitches. Definitely take the stool softener because it's gonna make a huge difference when you go to the bathroom. The second important thing is to drink a lot of liquid. You definitely don't want to get UTI when you're recovering postpartum. Granted that I've never had UTI in my life, thank God, but part of the reason is because I kept myself hydrated at all times. I'm constantly drinking water, I'm constantly drinking liquid. At the beginning, it's very easy to skip on the liquid because every time you go to the bathroom, it's not very comfortable because the repair, the stitches, even if you don't have the stitches, I heard it's also not very comfortable. That shouldn't prevent you from drinking a lot of liquid. So after birth, I just kept drinking a lot of water, a lot of juice, but it really helped me to prevent UTI. And also eat some fiber because this is definitely not the time that you want to be constipated. So eat a lot of healthy fiber. It's going to be very helpful. A lot of people recommended the witch hazel pads. So these are from the Frida Mom's Perineal cooling pad liners. This one, it has witch hazel, which helps with healing, reduce swelling, and no harsh chemicals. So basically what it is these are those pad linings. You can just line it on top of your pads, and it's wet and it has witch hazel on it. So it's cooling, and apparently witch hazel is supposed to be helpful. Personally, I didn't use it for a long time because I forgot that I had it. I bought it before I gave birth, but I forgot that I had it. I think it helps, but it's not like, oh my gosh, it makes a huge difference and blah blah blah. But overall, this one helps. It doesn't irritate me or anything, and it's just something like a plus. What makes a difference the most is this one, the Dermoplast. This one I got it from hospital. It's like hospital strength. It's a pain relieving spray. It's really good for pain, burn, or itch. If you got bug bites, sunburn, scrapes, burns, whatever, this one helps because it has like a nice cooling effect. It's like basically a spray. And the nurse told me to spray the perineal section after using the bathroom to just have some pain relief. And this one helps a lot. And afterwards, you can keep it. If you get like bug bites or sunburns and stuff, it's multifunctional. So highly recommend this one. Are the Peri bottles. I got this one from the hospital. It's not necessarily like a Peri bottle because it doesn't have like that little U shape. I'll show you the one that I bought from Frida Mom. Use the Peri bottles first and then tap dry, not like wipe like very hard, very rough because it will hurt. So this one is the actual Peri bottle from Frida. So as you can see, you can put it like this and you squeeze and the water will come out. So this is the one I got from Frida Mom. It's like a must-have. And these are from the brand Frida Mom. 2 weeks of postpartum recovery. Get some disposable underwear. Ta-da! You definitely don't want to get your regular underwear dirty because the first 2 weeks usually people bleed a lot and get the big maxi pads, and these disposable ones are really helpful. so I don't get my normal underwear dirty. Next postpartum recovery tip is about diet. So I've heard different stories about what to do after giving birth. There is Chinese confinement. Some moms, they're trying to lose weight. I also wanted to lose weight, but I didn't want to affect my milk supply, and I also lost a lot of blood. So here is my postpartum recovery tips when it comes to diet. So after giving birth, I lost a lot of blood. So in the first 2 weeks, I was very, very lightheaded. It's to the point that like sometimes I was so weak that I couldn't even project my voice. It's because I had a lot of bleeding. First of all, take food that has a lot of iron, and then the hospital, the doctor is going to tell you to take more extra iron when you recover, to eat enough carbs. I felt like every time I eat more carbs, I felt a little bit better when I was lightheaded. Also took more sodium, I believe, because my blood pressure was a little bit low. The fourth thing, other than keeping hydrated, is to pay attention to your protein intake. So I took a birth class with a doula in like a doula place in our city, and the doula was saying that, oh, you need to eat twice as much after giving birth because when you're nursing. If you eat 1700 before you give birth, you eat 3000 calories and blah blah blah. That is a load of false information. That is why I didn't hire a doula, because the doula that I met with or took classes with, I didn't trust them. The CDC actually like recommend that you eat only 500 calories extra when nursing, not double your calorie intake. And in my case, I did not even eat extra calories, because after giving birth, my uterus keeps contracting. Your uterus wants to go back to its original size. So after giving birth, every time I pump or every time I breastfeed, I will have cramps. It was very uncomfortable, so I didn't have any appetite for a while. So like during that first 2 to 3 weeks, my appetite was kind of minimal, and I didn't really eat extra calories. But my milk supply wasn't affected at all. I made sure that I ate enough protein. When I didn't have any appetite, I drank a lot of hot cocoa. When I really didn't feel like eating, I drank some calories, which helped. I was trying not to eat empty calories. So what are empty calories? Like those are chips, junk food. Like those are the things not gonna help with the milk supply. Because instead of focusing on the calories, focus on the nutrients. So I was making sure that I eat enough protein. I was making sure that I eat enough vitamins. I was making sure that I ate enough like carbs and fatty acid, like healthy fat. I was losing weight like crazy in the first 4 weeks postpartum because I didn't have much like appetite, but because I focused more on the nutrients rather than calories, it did not hurt my milk supply at all. High quality protein, that includes eggs, chicken, beef. In addition to that, I also took Vital Protein Collagen Peptides. So it has protein, it also has collagen peptides. It helps with my joints, my bone health to recover. It also helps with my skin elasticity, and it also helps my overall like protein intake. I ate a lot of wonton soup with vegetables and meat dumplings, and I ate a lot of egg sandwiches to repair my body, to recover my body, and also like producing breast milk for my baby. So it never really hurt my milk supply, even though I lost like 20 pounds. I lost a lot of weight, but it did not affect my milk supply. Another postpartum symptom that's brought up by a lot of my friends is postpartum hair loss. Personally, I didn't have any hair loss until recently, which is about 3 months. And honestly, there are several reasons that explain it. Part of it is the hormonal changes. You kind of have to let it play out by itself. But other than that, make sure you take the vitamins. So I kept taking the prenatal vitamins even after postpartum. There is a difference between prenatal and postnatal, and the major difference is that the postnatal has less iron and the postnatal has less folic acid. So if you actually have certain health concerns, talk to your doctor. And if the doctor told you not to take that much iron, don't do that. But other than that, instead of buying another postnatal vitamin, I kept taking my prenatal vitamin because my doctor told me to take extra iron anyways. So I just kept on going. But eventually I may switch to postnatal, and then before I try for the next baby, I will switch to prenatal again. Taking vitamins helps a lot. According to a lot of the videos that I found, a lot of moms that taking the postnatal help them to prevent postpartum hair loss. Alright, so the next postpartum recovery tips is movement. So here is the time I give you another disclaimer, is that check with your doctor to make sure that it's okay for you to exercise or bring movement to your life. But I really abide by the theory that I saw online. It's 5 days in bed, 5 days on bed, and 5 days near bed. I use that for my postpartum recovery. The first 5 days postpartum, I was literally just in bed or in the couch. I didn't do any chores in the house. And of course, if you're a single mom, it could be a little bit harder. Someone that can help you or a friend. Recovering, and I was so lightheaded. It's not like I can do anything else, and also I had stitches down there, so it's not like I can walk a lot. So my only jobs in my first 5 days was to hold the baby. I would just go take shower and go to the bathroom. That's the only time that I leave the bed. I did not cook. I did not do the dishes. So there are ways to do it if you're a single mom, is to meal prep before you give birth, put them in the freezer, and microwave them after you give birth. So it's doable. The first 5 days, all healing. The next 5 days was on bed, which means I was sitting up a lot, and I was doing a little bit more chores around the house, but not like real chores, but just walk around like trying to organize a little bit of the baby stuff. But I was like mainly just on bed, like, or on the couch. And what I did was like I started to walk around in the house a little bit, organizing things, but I didn't do any like real hardcore chores. But I was like, oh, let me put up the baby clothes. You definitely don't want to challenge your body. You definitely don't want to make yourself too tired, especially like if you lost a lot of blood, if you had stitches, if you had other issues. The third 5 days is to spend near bed, which means that you, as long as you take breaks in between your household activities and stuff, I think it's pretty okay. Well, again, like this is having uncomplicated vaginal birth. Like if you had C-section, it's way different timeline. As long as I get breaks and get rest in bed, like if I need it, I can do daily activities. So the third 5 days, I was walking around the house more, and also start to incorporate yoga back into my life at the 10th day postpartum. So here's the break. If you are thinking about doing exercise after birth, very, very important is, well, check with your doctor, also check with yourself. Like every body is different. The doctor is going to be very conservative, definitely, because they don't want to tell you that you can do it and then you did it and injured yourself. For me personally, since I am a certified yoga teacher, and during pregnancy I also got certified to teach prenatal and postnatal yoga. So I was able to incorporate these things that I learned in my daily practice. So before I gave birth, I actually taught power vinyasa until 2 days before the giving birth, and it makes a huge difference in terms of like my body, my physical activity, and also my birth experience. Like yoga definitely helped, and postnatal yoga is also helpful with like the recovery. But before you do any exercise or postnatal yoga, very important thing, first thing is to check your pelvic floor and your core. So in yoga, we actually talk about like different energy locks that we call bandhas in our body. The first bandhas is actually our pelvic floor. It is actually the entire pelvic floor area, and when you engage it, you pull your pelvic floor up. That is when you pull it up. The sensation is like if you really wanted to go to the bathroom but you can't, so you have to hold yourself, control yourself. So that is your mula bandha. It's actually one of the most important ones when it comes to giving birth, because when you give birth, so that's why like it's important to see if you're pulling it back. And the postnatal yoga, once you start to engage your pelvic floor, like it's very helpful in terms of the recovery of the pelvic floor. So I actually know some pelvic floor therapists who's been to my yoga class. A lot of people that I know, they had to see a pelvic floor therapist after giving birth. So for me, I do think practicing yoga really helps me in terms of opening the pelvic floor and closing up the pelvic floor. So during pregnancy, I did a lot of pelvic floor exercise. There are a lot of yoga poses that help you. Let me tell you, it's not just about like doing the yoga pose. You may look like the Instagram, whatever, but if you're not pulling in your pelvic floor, if you're not having the sensations of pulling up, that it doesn't help. So the whole idea is the engagement, not what you look like, whether if you get into the pose. After giving birth, at the 10 days, I was just sitting down and I started practice pulling up my pelvic floor. And then once I find the engagement, I'm like, maybe I'm ready to practice some gentle yoga flow. The second thing is your abs. Some people experience the separation of the ab muscles. If that happened to you, like here's the term for that. The way I assess abs is not to challenge it, but to just sit down and pull your ab belly into spine, just pull. So right after birth, I couldn't pull it all the way back because, you know, my abs are not quite there yet. It took me 3 months to look like this. But the first thing is not to challenge with some sort of ab workout. Don't do that. Just sit here and just find the engagement of your abs. At 10 days postpartum, I could tell my upper ab was really good, but my lower ab is completely like no control. I had no control of my lower abs. So after assessing my core situation, I was able to do some yoga exercises that are more forward to upper instead of the lower, and I did modification with a lot of poses like downward facing dog. I didn't contract my lower abs as much. Practice the engagement of your pelvic floor, practice engagement of your core without any weight on these muscle groups, because once you put weight on it, like body weights or real weights, hand weights, the chance of injury is way higher if you just sit here to practice the sensations. Once you can find the sensations and engagement, that usually means maybe you're ready to do some movement. If you're not ready after 10 days, I'm not telling you after 10 days you can do yoga. Assess your situation to see your abs are separated. Assess your pelvic floor situations. But I want to say that postnatal yoga is really, really, really helpful in terms of finding back that pelvic floor. So after 6 weeks, when after my doctor cleared me, I started going back to weightlifting, exercise, jumping jacks, and all this intense exercise. But at the beginning, like when I do jumping jacks, I had to be very careful when I jump because my pelvic floor was not 100% at 6 weeks, but I kept up with my yoga exercise. Now that after 3 whole months, when I do jumping jacks and whatever, nothing will happen. Like I don't have any incontinence, I don't have any problems with my pelvic floor. I feel like my pelvic floor is almost 100%, going back to pre-pregnancy level. The most important things in yoga is not what you look like. It's not that you have to look like the Instagram post. It's the engagement and the sensations of engagement of your targeted muscle group. So if you just do yoga pose like without engagement, first of all, you may injure yourself. Second, you're not getting the benefits, because the whole idea is to practice your engagement of the core and practice your engagement of the pelvic floor so that you can have full control of your body and build that mind and body connection. Prenatal postnatal yoga is so helpful in terms of like preparing my body to give birth and also to help my body recover from birth. I assessed my situation. My bleeding was slowed down before I start practicing yoga and exercising, because doing exercise could make you bleed a little bit more, because after you give birth you may bleed a while. It also improved my mood a lot, so I didn't have any mood swings, I didn't have much irritation, I didn't have any problems with my mood. I also didn't have postpartum depression. I think part of it is also thanks to yoga, because yoga not only increased your blood flow, it also increased your mood. It also brings some happy hormones in your body. For some reason, every time after I practice yoga, I can pump more milk. I noticed this after I tracked my milk supply for a while. I truly believe it was because first, the increased blood flow, the blood circulation. The second is that feel good hormones like the oxytocin, like the love hormones, because every time if you're a seasonal yoga practitioner, you get a yoga high after practice. So other than practicing yoga, after 10-11 days I started taking gentle walks in the neighborhood or going to the stores. So here's the thing, be very gentle, use small steps and walk slow at the beginning. So taking walks is super beneficial after birth because you get to see the outside, you get to see the trees, you get to see the birds. But at the beginning I was walking very slow steps. You do not want to challenge your pelvic floor in the first 2 weeks of after postpartum. Since I practice yoga like almost every day, it really helps me like to know when to push forward a little bit and when to surrender and retreat, come a little bit back. But personally, yoga helped me a lot, and when I show up at the gym, everyone was like, didn't you just have a baby? Why is your belly so flat? It was because of yoga, because of that Uddiyana Bandha, that core engagement, belly to spine. It really helps me to protect my lower back because I had lower back pain. The more engagement you have with your abs, the less pressure it is on your lower back. Yoga, it not only helps with my physical recovery, it also improves my mood, it also increases my milk supply. It's just all around like really I'm really grateful with yoga as a tool. I lost 42 pounds in 3 months. And I think if haters gonna say that, oh, you're not healing yourself if you lost weight so fast, or you're gonna hurt your milk supply if you lost weight so fast or whatever. It didn't. And I think part of it is because I didn't like diet. I practice yoga a lot, and very important, take enough protein, take care of yourself. Alrighty, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any postpartum recovery tips, definitely comment down below, share it out. And also I'm really grateful for Molblly for sending me that mattress in PR. This video is not sponsored, but I really enjoy the mattress, so I'm very grateful, and I'm really grateful for you guys. With a grateful heart, make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video.